I just watched the semifinals game where Ubyssey faced off against Toronto Metropolitan University, the Bold, and this was another tough matchup for Ubyssey after they fell to the Huskies and they moved to the consolation side. For this game, it would be their chance to keep their season going. If they lost this one, their season would be over, but if they won this one, they get to play for 5th place in nationals. And it was another tough game because TMU is the 1st seed in the tournament, and they lost on Thursday in a very close, tight game against the host team, Laval. And they lost in like a 1-possession game at the end. Just couldn't get a 3-pointer to tie it and send it into overtime. So they were coming off a tough game. Ubyssey was coming off a tough game. They're both quite sharp defensive teams. So it's going to be another really tough battle for Ubyssey today. They started off on a much better foot. They found their rhythm pretty quickly against TMU. They were connecting on their shots. They were doing good not to get into foul trouble. They were getting to the line a lot and making their free throws. So they started off with some really great energy. The first half was pretty dominant for Ubyssey, but the Bold kept right with them, and it was a tight game right into halftime. And then for the third quarter, TMU picked it up a lot and they kind of started to take control of the game. They had a really strong third quarter. Once again, Weeks got into a bit of foul trouble, but she was able to keep it better this time around. And so Ubyssey was playing quite well. It was a very, very close game, and it looked like it was going to go once again to the last possession, which TMU probably wouldn't have wanted 2 games to go right to the end again, but Ubyssey was right with them, and it was a much better game than when they played the Huskies. And then in the fourth quarter, unfortunately, Ubyssey was just trailing for a lot of it by 4 or 2 points. It was still a very close game, but they just couldn't quite tie it up. And then in the last couple seconds, they were still trailing. TMU got it to a 5-point lead with only about 5 seconds left, as Ubyssey had to start fouling them just to keep time on the clock. And in the last possession, Billings went for the 3-pointer, and it was blocked by Miriam Cone on TMU, but she was able to reload and get the 3-pointer off before the final buzzer, which ended the score 68-66. So unfortunately for Ubyssey, it wasn't enough to get them the win, but they stayed with them the whole game. It was a very tight, close contest, but unfortunately this means that Ubyssey's season has ended, which is very unfortunate, as there's a lot of 5th years on this team. There's a lot of graduating seniors who just played their last career game. Olivia Weeks is one of them, a 2nd-team All-Canadian, 1st-team Canada West All-Star. She played incredible for Ubyssey in this game. She had a lot of points for them. She was working really hard in the paint to score, working really hard on defense. Overall, Ubyssey had a really good effort. It was a much improved game from their game against the Huskies, so it's definitely something to be proud of. They went out on a good note, putting their best foot forward, and just unfortunately it wasn't quite enough, and they just fell short. So now their season is over, and they'll have to look to next year to hopefully do better at nationals.